Please be seated. President Bollinger, on behalf of the Dean and the faculty and the Columbia College class of 2011, I respectfully ask your permission to begin these Class Day exercises. With that permission, I shall begin. President Bollinger, Dean Moody Adams, Provost Steele, Vice President Dirks, Ms. Wallace, honored participants, distinguished faculty, alumni, and guests. I'm proud to recognize the members of the class of 2011 and mark their shared and individual accomplishments in these Class Day exercises. It is now my honor to present your salutatorian for the Columbia class of 2011, Elizabeth Lyon.
A little less than 4 years ago, I submitted my first undergraduate essay. The class was Lit Hum, and the topic, Fate, Freedom, and Responsibility in the Histories of Herodotus and Oedipus Rex. My professor was deeply disappointed with it. I had not actually attempted to unravel the knot of how these three ideas are intertwined, concluding with the feeble question, why then can we not simply accept the many faces of the eternal questions? My professor had circled this, along with other similar questions I posed, and on the side margin had written the exclamation, "These are all questions one should be trying to answer." This was supremely frustrating to me at the time. It was not that I was indifferent to such questions and ideas. On the contrary, these were precisely the things I wanted desperately to know. Yet I was at the same time somehow convinced that the search for such answers was futile. My reasoning was rather akin to that of a student, Meno, in one of Plato's dialogues. How will you aim to search for something you do not know at all? If you should meet with it, how will you know that this is the thing you did not know? I suspect that all of us here came to Columbia with questions we did not know how to answer or to approach. Questions that, even if not precisely formulated in our minds, were nonetheless vividly and perhaps even painfully present in our longing to know and to learn. But to learn what? Standing here at the other end of our undergraduate careers, I am certain that we have seen things more intriguing, more captivating, more beautiful than we could scarcely have imagined prior to our time here. Certainly, we have each found this beauty in different places, in the mysteries of the human genome, the stanzas of a poem, the echoes of a musical phrase, or the labyrinths of mathematics. However, awareness of the passion common to all of us is testament to a strong conviction that even if these questions can never fully be answered, one must try to answer them. That this process of trying to answer what can never fully be answered is not a futile act of delusion. Instead, it is the exuberant action of a love transcending our present knowledge by ever wishing to know more deeply and more honestly. It is this combination of what we have studied with this boundless passion for knowledge within ourselves that has transfigured each and every one of us during our time spent here. The goal of our education is not to store information on some dusty shelf within our mind. The most exquisite part of our education is the realization that what we learn lives and breathes within us, indeed has its life through us, that we act as critical members in a collective human enterprise capable of meaningfully communicating across the spans of centuries and the divides of disciplines. Columbia has shown us a vast spectrum of some of the greatest achievements of humankind and in so doing, has nurtured within us an interior universe of associations adding depth, color, significance, and understanding to what we will experience in every single moment of our lives. Thus, perhaps we will find an incarnation of Hegel's world spirit in the Beethoven Quartet. Marvel at the night sky not simply for its appearance, but for its dynamics of chaos and order. Approach a difficult decision with Kant and Mill as kind and wise advisors, or peer into the abyss of our own psyche through the mirrors of other cultures. Through these myriad connections sketched within ourselves, our lives become richer and the world increasingly enchanting. Commencement comes from the Latin word cominitiare, which means to begin, to initiate. As we spend the next 2 days reflecting upon our time here and anticipating our future, I think it is important to retain this sense of beginning. The essence of our lives at Columbia does not end in receiving a diploma. Indeed, it cannot end for lovers of learning transformed through the pursuit of knowledge. This beginning, then, is not one of departing, for we cannot depart from an education, our Columbia education, that has become a constituent element of ourselves. Rather, let us consider this the beginning of a long and patient growth of what has been planted within us, an induction into the commitment of nurturing our cherished questions through living them. Committed to such an undertaking, we cannot fail but to meet with things more beautiful than we can now imagine. For though it is impossible yet to know what these things may be, our ever-burning love for truth in knowledge proclaim that they are indeed there for those who seek. I would at this time like to thank those without whom I could not be standing here. To my family, my parents, my 2 siblings, my grandparents, to all my professors, in particular Professors Mark Lilla, Katja Vogt, Marco Mayuro, and at Juilliard, Bonnie Hampton. I would not be the person I am today without your support and guidance. Finally, above all, thank you to my classmates. Thank you for riveting conversations, beautiful collaborations, and your company at 3 a.m. in Butler on a Friday night. Yeah. I am truly most privileged to have known you. Yes, I know you were there too. I am truly most privileged to have known you, and I am certain this is just the beginning of enduring lifelong friendships. Please accept my congratulations on our achievement celebrated today and my best wishes and hopes as we move past this threshold of commencement. Thank you.
Our keynote speaker this morning is an esteemed Columbia alumna and current Senior Vice President of NBC News, Ms. Alexandra Wallace-Creed. Ms. Wallace was named, yes, we can. Ms. Wallace was named executive producer of NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams in March of 2007. And became the first woman in a decade to lead a weeknight network evening newscast. She is also one of a small group of women to serve in the top post of a Big 3 daily newscast. While leading Nightly News, Wallace repositioned the program as the #1 evening news broadcast in terms of both ratings and viewership. Wallace also extended the show's digital reach by orchestrating a relaunch of the website, increasing online video content, and adding a digital correspondent to the show's staff. Since December of 2008, Wallace has served as Senior Vice President of NBC News, overseeing nightly news, news production, and staffing. Wallace, who earned her BA in English Literature from Columbia College in 1988, began her network career at the CBS News London Bureau. Prior to landing NBC, Wallace held several positions in CBS, including senior broadcast producer for The Early Show and senior producer for The Early Show and CBS This Morning. Wallace has been honored with 11 News and Documentary Emmy Awards, a Gracie Award, and a Peabody Award. In 2008, Columbia College recognized Wallace for professional achievement by presenting her with the prestigious John Jay Award. She is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. We're honored to have this accomplished alumna with us today. Please help me in welcoming Ms. Wallace.
Good morning. When I was sitting in your seat 23 years ago, I hoped the person speaking would be brief. So I will try and be brief. And let's be honest. When you heard the speaker was from NBC News, you thought maybe Brian Williams, Matt Lauer, Ann Curry, Tom Brokaw. Instead, who did your senior class president, Sean Udell, get for you? Alex Wallace. Who is he? 23 years ago, I had no idea what I wanted to do next. Little did I know how well, in fact, I was prepared for life. And you are too. You know how to navigate the greatest city in the world. You have read the world's great books. You appreciate history and art and music. You know how to question everything you are presented with. You are thoughtful. If you're at all like me, you've discovered novel ways to make it through all-nighters before exams. You have friends who come from completely different backgrounds than yours. In fact, some of your best friends today will still be your best friends 25 years from now. Witness my closest friends who are here today, my teammates from the Columbia women's tennis team. So while, when I was sitting at my own class day, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, I now realize the seeds of what I was suited to do existed in me from the day I was born. The clues were all around me. I recently reread my kindergarten report cards and was impressed by how diplomatic my teacher was in letting my parents know they had a very inquisitive child on their hands. This is what she wrote. Alexandra is an intensely curious child. Her responses to the recent National Geographic questionnaire give some idea of her global concerns. What was the world like before there was an Earth? What is at the very bottom of the sea, underneath the bottom? Is the Earth liquid at its center? How did God create the world? I was a journalist in kindergarten. At Columbia, before newspapers were online, I was the one sitting in Ferris Booth Hall, now Lerner, reading every single section. If I couldn't finish all the sections, I would stack them by my bed in John Jay to read later. Often the stack got dangerously tall. While here, I couldn't stop asking questions nor questioning the status quo. As the editor of the Newman Journal, the Catholic publication on campus, I wrote a piece addressing the issue of female priests in the Catholic Church. Quote, women occupy and succeed in all other areas of society, yet the Church refuses to grant them full participation and equality. That was probably my first published piece on the role of women in our society, a subject that has been a constant theme of my life as a journalist. What I wrote upset some people, but I knew it would when I wrote it, and I was okay with that. I was very lucky to have a role model in my father, a man who has followed his passion, international law, and has improved lives all over the world by helping developing countries strengthen their legal systems. He graduated from law school, spent a year at a fancy New York law firm, and then realized that life was short and money was not what motivated him. That's a pretty great life lesson to witness. That's a pretty great life lesson to witness as a kid. The idea that you could and should follow your passion, and that work can be an avocation as well as a vocation. So I graduated from Columbia, figured I'd go to law school like my dad did and the rest of my friends did, but that I'd take a year off in between to do something fun, something that really interested me before I began my real life. What to do in my year off? I looked at the puzzle pieces. Here's what I knew. I loved to ask questions. I hoarded newspapers. I worked best at crazy hours of the night. Could I make money for a year leveraging the idiosyncrasies my friends made fun of me for? It turned out, yes, I could. 2 months after graduation, I moved to London, literally went door to door with my resume. I do not advise that. And found a 2-week internship at CBS News. I loved it. Law school, schmaw school. I stayed at CBS News for 17 years. Years spent in places my mother warned me about. Prisons, trauma centers, courts, disaster sites, drug dealers' homes. At CBS News, reporting. I was reporting there. You do not know the distances that a reporter has to go to get the story. At CBS News and now NBC News, I met tons of people like myself, people passionate about the news. My colleagues who are today in Egypt and Afghanistan and Libya do it because they have a passion for their work, not just for the paycheck. You've heard what the clues were in my life. What are the clues in yours? If I have any small piece of advice, it is this. The clues to who you really are all around you. Do not be afraid to structure a life around what the clues lead you to. It is more satisfying to find a place where you fit than to contort yourself to fit somewhere you don't. Is there something you love doing, besides sleeping, that could become a career? You will work a lot in your life. You should love what you do. I loved asking questions and found the perfect job, where I get to ask questions all day. Congratulations to you all, and thank you for having me.
In each class, there are men and women who distinguish themselves and their school through superior academic accomplishments and service to others. Over the past few weeks, we have recognized students who have been particularly gracious with their time and talents, and in doing so, have contributed in so many ways to enhancing the Columbia community. At this time, will all the students who have received academic or departmental awards, were selected as senior marshals, were honored at the King's Crown Leadership Awards dinner or celebrations, please stand and be recognized. Thank you for all your contributions to Columbia. It's now my pleasure to present the final awards given on behalf of Columbia College. The Edward S. Brainerd Memorial Prize is awarded annually to the member of the graduating class who is judged by his or her classmates to be the most worthy of distinction for qualities of mind and character. The 2011 recipient is Lisa Weber. The Charles M. Roker Prize is awarded annually to the member of the graduating class who is judged by his or her classmates to be worthy of special distinction for scholarship, participation in student activities, or preeminence in athletics, or any combination of these. The prize was established by Miss C. M. Roker in memory of her son, Charles M. Roker, Jr., class of 1907. The 2011 recipient is Cara Buchanan. The Charles A. Bjorkwall Prize is awarded annually to a member of the graduating class for unselfish service to the Columbia College community. The prize was established by Otto Emma Bjorkwall in the memory of her brother Charles H. Bjorkwall. The 2011 recipient is Terrell Winder. The Columbia College Scholar Athlete Award is presented by the Office of the Dean to the graduating student who has distinguished himself or herself as a varsity athlete and scholar. This year, the award is given to Kathleen Berry. The Constantino Colombo Outstanding Leadership Service Award is presented to a student who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and service while working with a broad base of undergraduate constituents and administrators to enhance undergraduate student life. The award is presented in honor of Chris Colombo, who served 16 years as the Dean of Student Affairs. The award is given to Scott Maxfield. The measure of an undergraduate experience can be found not only in academics, but in service and acceptance that one extends to others. As such, the Campus Life Leadership Awards are given to those students whose participation in undergraduate campus life has enhanced the very spirit of student life and created a purposeful, caring, and celebratory community at large. The recipients of this award have been successful in their endeavors to create a more understanding and accepting environment that preserves the ideals and heritage of Columbia. The 2011 recipients are Carrie Morrison and Karen Wooden Rodriguez. I now like to invite Dean Catherine Yatrakis, Dean of Academic Affairs, to present the recipients of this year's academic awards.
Thank you, Kevin. It is now my honor to present on behalf of Columbia College and the faculty the Albert Asher Green Memorial Award, the David B. Truman Alumni Award, and the honors of Valedictorian and Salutatorian. Established by Mr. and Mrs. Asher Green in memory of their son, Albert Asher Green, class of 1914. The Albert Asher Green Memorial Award is presented to the senior who has been in good standing for at least 3 years and who has made the best record of scholarship, translated to us, the highest grade point average. And the 2011 recipient is Dasha Wise. Established in honor of David B. Truman, a beloved former dean of the college, the David B. Truman Alumni Award is awarded to the senior who has made the most distinguished contribution to the academic affairs of the college. The 2011 recipient is Gilad Bedheim. And from among those students with the highest GPA, the valedictorian and salutatorian are selected by the Faculty Committee on Honors, Awards, and Prizes on the basis of faculty recommendations regarding the strength, breadth, depth, and rigor of their academic achievements, as well as on evidence of their intellectual promise, character, and achievement outside of the classroom. I'm pleased to announce the valedictorian for the class of 2011, Margot Lazo. And of course, we've already heard from our salutatorian for the class of 2011, Elizabeth Lyon. I would like now to call forward Brian Chrisberg, who will be giving the Alumni Awards. Brian Chrisberg is a graduate of Columbia College, class of 1981, Columbia Law, 1984, and is the current chair of the Columbia College Alumni Association Board of Directors.
Thank you. The Columbia College Alumni Association, or CCAA, was originally incorporated by an act of the legislature of the state of New York on May 21st, 1874. Its officers on that date included one Seth Lowe, an 1870 graduate of the college who, in between serving as the mayor of Brooklyn and the mayor of New York City, was president of Columbia University from 1890 to 1901. Lowe gave $1 million of his inheritance for the construction of the beautiful library you see behind me. Dedicated in memory to his father, Lowe Memorial Library opened in 1897 and has stood with prominence as a reminder and symbol of our tradition of academic excellence ever since. The CCAA is another permanent reminder of our legacy. Its original charter calls upon us to promote the interests, influence, and efficiency of Columbia College as an institution of learning and practical education, and to establish and secure the mutually beneficial relationships between Columbia College and its alumni. Upon your graduation this week and following our bylaws created by fellow alums many years ago, each of you will automatically become a regular member of the CCAA, joining the over 40,000 other alums who comprise our ranks. I hope you take this responsibility very seriously, because I know I have. From attending reunions and homecoming and many other events on the college's filled calendar, to staying in touch with classmates, administrators, and faculty, to monitoring developments in our core curriculum and following current happenings on campus, I have tried to maintain Columbia College as a significant part of my life since the week I graduated 30 years ago. Not a day goes by where I do not appreciate the education I received here and the great opportunities afforded to me at Columbia. On behalf of the CCAA and its board, I welcome you to the alumni community. I would also like to congratulate your parents, your extended families, and all of your friends who are here today. This is a special day in a very special week, in a special time of your lives, and I hope you enjoy every moment of it. Congratulations. It is now my honor to present 3 awards on behalf of the Columbia College Alumni Association. The Alumni Prize. The Alumni Prize is awarded annually to the senior judged by classmates to be the most faithful and deserving. This year, the prize is awarded to Julia Halperin. The Robert Lincoln Carey Memorial Prize is awarded to the senior who, through a combination of leadership qualities as exercised in the non-athletic extracurricular program of Columbia College and outstanding achievement in the academic program of the college, best exemplifies the ideals which Robert Lincoln Carey sought to engender in the students of Columbia College. This year, the prize is awarded to Michael Mirochnik. The Alumni Association Achievement Award is awarded to the senior who is judged to be most outstanding for qualities of mind, character, and service to the college. This year, the award is presented to Colin Sullivan. It is now my great pleasure to introduce and welcome Michelle Moody Adams. Michelle Moody Adams is the Dean of Columbia College and the Henry L. and Lucy G. Moses Professor. She is also the Vice President for Undergraduate Education. She is a widely celebrated moral and political philosopher holding the Joseph Strauss Professorship in Columbia's Department of Philosophy, and her current book project concerns connections between morality and history, exploring reparations claims, truth and reconciliation commissions, national apologies, and the idea of forgiveness. The Dean received her undergraduate education at Wellesley, was a Marshall Scholar at Oxford University, and was awarded her doctorate from Harvard. Before coming to Columbia, for the 2009-2010 academic year, Dean Moody Adams was Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education, Professor of Philosophy, and Director of the Program on Ethics and Public Life at Cornell. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dean Michelle Moody Adams.
Good morning. And congratulations to Columbia College's class of 2011. It is a pleasure to join your families and friends, faculty members, administrators, and staff in celebrating your achievements and in acknowledging all that you have done to make Columbia a better place. You are nearing the end of an extraordinary rite of passage, a transition from college student to college graduate that will bring you exciting opportunities and weighty obligations. But amidst all the ceremony and celebration, you're probably trying to understand what all of this really means. You're sorting through your possessions, your social connections, and your memories, trying to decide what to save and what to give up. What books and papers will you want to have in 10, 20, even 30 years from now? With which faculty members do you hope to stay in touch? Which friends do you want to be sure not to lose? And which pictures should you take down from your Facebook page? This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime inventory. And I don't have answers to all of your questions, but there are two things of which I am certain. First, in your time at Columbia, you have participated in traditions and explored new regions of knowledge and experience that have connected you to ideals and values that are larger than yourself. And second, one of the best things you can take with you as you leave Columbia College is a promise to maintain these connections long after you graduate. Now, one step towards fulfilling that promise is to preserve your sense of Columbia as a physical artifact. The architectural historian Spiro Kostof observed, and I quote, that public architecture at its best aspires to be a setting for ritual that makes of each user, for a brief moment, a larger person than he or she is in daily life. Now, who among us could stand on the steps of Low Library, take in the extraordinary vista across Low Plaza, and not appreciate that space as public architecture at its best? It's one of the most yes, you can absolutely. It is one of the most glorious public spaces in the world. And in a single glance, it connects us to storied poets, historians, and philosophers whose names are carved on the front of Butler Library and whose works, among others, we exhort you to study. But the glory of this place is not confined to accomplishments of the past. Kostof urges that architecture is a social act. It's an art that sets the stage for human activities. And on any afternoon during an ordinary academic year, Low Plaza is a perfect example of architecture as social act. At one moment, it's a marketplace of political ideas. At another, it's an amphitheater for spontaneous outbreaks of drama and song. And sometimes, as we watch people sunning themselves on the steps of Low Library, it's just one great big urban beach. But the public spaces of this campus are most likely to connect us to something of transcendent value when they are the locus of spirited but reasonable public debate. And in your time as undergraduates here, you have had front row seats to a remarkable number of such debates. Not just the grand events on Low Plaza, but in classrooms and laboratories, in lecture halls and residence halls across campus. And more than 40 years since the student protests of the 60s and 70s, your part in these recent debates has helped Columbia begin to shed its image as the place where serious controversy must inevitably erupt in violent protest. So what then is the best way to safeguard this aspect of Columbia's 21st century legacy? Well, I urge that whatever else you do with your lives, whether you wind up in law, teaching, medicine, the arts, or in finance, you must do whatever you can to protect social and political spaces in which robust but reasoned debate is possible. You, class of 2011, you've had more opportunities than most to figure out how to do this without coming to blows with your opponent. And with opportunities come obligations. And as you try to fulfill your obligations, remember, debate cannot be reasonable unless it's rooted in the exchange of ideas. Some people will try to substitute vitriol and invective for argument and analysis. They will try to shout down their opponents in public forums, and they will attempt to silence disagreement with threats of violence and fear. But as an heir to Columbia's newly minted legacy, you know better. You know you should not sit idly by while anyone tries to destroy the institutions in which you plan to make your future. To protect those institutions, you must be ready to give every idea the time, the space, and the attention that it is due. Now, I'm not opposed to social media such as Facebook and Twitter, and I acknowledge that the kind of communication they make possible can be a catalyst for constructive political action. Before the popular uprising in Egypt, some critics insisted that social revolution, and I quote, would not be tweeted. But events of January 2011 have proved those critics wrong. But there are some politically urgent ideas that cannot be expressed in 140 characters. And most political argument is not constructively advanced by anonymous posts on a blog. You must be willing to own the ideas you think important if you are going to defend them. And you will find that they require more than 140 characters to convincingly complete that defense. We marvel at the 272 words of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Taken together, they constitute one of the great political speeches of all time. But Lincoln was a master craftsman. He needed just 10 sentences to take profound ideas from two great documents, the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, and authoritatively unite them into a single coherent political ideal. A whole year's worth of comment on Twitter will never be as masterful as one sentence of the Gettysburg Address. But even the most masterful political argument, right? Even the most masterful political argument will mean very little if it does not take account of the views of those who disagree with it. And we can create possibilities for robust disagreement only if we are willing to air our convictions in a context of genuine diversity of opinions and ideas. Every member of the Columbia College class of 2011 has had the chance to appreciate and engage in the spirited exchange of varying conviction. Indeed, you have had the opportunity to test out your ideas and your arguments in one of the most diverse settings in human history. Your classmates come from 50 states, 70 countries, a wide variety of social and economic backgrounds, and they represent an ethnic and religious diversity not matched by very many places on the planet. Of course, you also know how challenging this diversity can be. People may say things or do things that offend you, and their conduct and their commitments will call your most comfortable and long-standing certainties into question. but you are Columbians. You are not afraid of challenge, and you are not afraid to respond to challenge in a context where not everybody thinks exactly the way you do. Winston Churchill once wrote that courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, but courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. When you leave Columbia to start your life as a college graduate, be sure to have the courage of your convictions, but be courageous enough to also sit down and listen to people who don't think like you. When you do, you will demonstrate the power of your Columbia College education, and you will affirm the value of an experience that consistently connected you to something larger than yourself. Good luck and best wishes to you all. So it's now my pleasure to introduce President Lee C. Bollinger. Who became 19th president of Columbia University in June of 2002. Under his leadership, Columbia has successfully mounted the largest capital campaign in its history. It's begun its most ambitious expansion in its history, and it has made an unparalleled commitment to this university's future as a truly global institution. He's a leading scholar of the First Amendment. He played a central role in seminal Supreme Court cases that upheld diversity as an important ground for affirmative action in education. Yes, he's the director of the Federal Reserve Bank, a governor of the Royal Shakespeare Company, and a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Before coming to Columbia as president, he served as president of the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor. He is a graduate of the University of Oregon and of the Law School of Columbia University. Please join me in welcoming President Lee C. Bollinger.
Thank you very much. So let me just say a word to the parents. I have sat right where you are, and people on the stage and elsewhere here today have done that as well. And we know just how focused you are on your individual graduate, how much love and how much you remember of the lives of each of your students, and how hopeful you are for their futures. And we just want to say to the parents that we appreciate having these great students for the past 4 years, and we want to welcome you to these ceremonies today and tomorrow. Thank you very much. Now, I will have you as a captive audience tomorrow. And so I won't say very much at all today. And in fact, tomorrow, I may not say very much either because the rain may make that impossible. I just want to say two things to you. The first is, I think by any standard, you have received the best education that is offered in the world today over the past 4 years. Certainly, the core curriculum is unique in higher education in the United States, but it is also the case that I think Columbia takes ideas more seriously than any place I know of. And so you began your lives out of here really with a spectacular liberal arts education, and I want you to know that. The second thing is that as we look at you today, and you look great, by the way, we just see from our vantage point that this is really your century. Your lives will span the range of decades of this century. And it's an incredible time for you to be graduating from this institution with this education and going out into this world. There's enormous potential. I think we all feel that. And yet there's also an enormous set of challenges. We have to invent economic systems that can employ youth, that can stop the degree of inequality of wealth that currently exists, and that can put less stress on the resources of the planet. We have to invent political systems that can be both open and democratic, and yet also respect the cultures that exist around the world. We also have to invent ways for people to be together in multicultural societies that really will only increase over time. These are scientific creations, these are theories of government and economics, and we have to do all of this with the kind of humanity that a liberal arts education prepares you to conceive of. So this is the greatest that any university can offer. You're very, very privileged. We envy the education that you have received, but this is also your century. And so we will watch you with pride and interest, because generations of Columbia graduates have gone on to solve problems like this and to contribute to their solutions. So I'll see you tomorrow. Congratulations to the class of 2011.
Thank you, President Bollinger. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the chair of the class of 2011, sorry. Slip. Oh. This 2011 Senior Fund Committee Chair, Scott Maxfield, and he's joined on stage with the rest of his committee. Scott.
Thank you, Dean Schellenberger. We are thrilled to announce today that 95% of our class has contributed to the Senior Fund. Raising a total of $21,349 for our class gift to the Columbia College Fund. We have surpassed our goal of 93% participation, qualifying us for an extremely generous $50,000 matching gift from Charles Santoro, class of 1982. This remarkable level of participation is the highest in the history of Columbia College. This record-breaking achievement would not have been possible without the help of the Division of Student Affairs, the Columbia College Office of Alumni Affairs and Development, the 41 members of the Senior Fund Committee, and the 11 vice chairs who stand behind me. Zachary Ali, Mary Martha Douglas, Sanaz Fazeli, Sarah Jacobs, Kevin Kung, Linda Magana, Beth Mallon, Michael Marachnik, Colin Sullivan, Zach Susel, and Lauren Zanitas. Their unwavering commitment to making this year's Senior Fund a success was invaluable. This gift represents a thank you to Columbia. Thank you for introducing us to this great city in style with Orientation Week parties at the Met and Ellis Island. Thank you for arming us with the world's great thinkers, from Homer to Dante to Nietzsche, Freud, and Woolf, and for inspiring in us the curiosity to challenge what we read and what we're told. Thank you for the exceptional faculty who in lectures, seminars, and midnight bike tours throughout New York City have brought these books to life. Thank you for helping us to find solidarity in difference. Thank you, Columbia, for an unforgettable 4 years. Fellow members of the class of 2011, this ceremony does not mark the end of our lives as Columbians. We will never forget the white glow emitted from the snowy trees on College Walk, the cheers on homecoming when we rallied around Columbia, and the celebratory scene just a few weeks ago when we toasted the last day of classes at senior dinner. But we must also remember that the experiences we've had here were made possible by the generosity of past Columbians. And so today, I want to encourage you to stay committed to Columbia as well. We learned this year in reaching the highest senior giving rate in Columbia's history that we have the power to pass on our love of this school to future Columbians. Let us work together over the years to ensure, just as we've begun to do here today, that the Columbia we so love will continue to be defined by unparalleled access and opportunity for generations to come. Dean Moody Adams, it is an honor to present you with this scroll, on which you will find the names of the 951 members of the senior class who have given to the Senior Fund. Thank you again, class of 2011, and best of luck.
So please help me in welcoming your class president, Sean Udell.
Hello, thank you, Dean Schollenberger. Thank you. President Bollinger, Vice President Dirks, Provost Steele, Dean Moody Adams, Ms. Wallace-Creed, faculty, alumni, families, and guests, I can't tell you how proud I am to be a member of the 253rd graduating class of Columbia College, the class of 2011. And 2011, allow me to quote Legally Blonde for just one moment. We made it! When writing this speech, part of me wished that I could have ended my remarks there. Sorry. A couple of things made writing this a rather difficult process, not least of which is that the setting seems much too formal for me to comfortably exhibit my spastic XOXO heart love you personality. But, thank you. But there were other inhibitions as well. One, I knew I was going last. Two, my friends kept asking for shout-outs, hello. And three, Administrators asked me to play expert in understanding the Columbia College community, particularly that of the 2011 variety. Essentially, I'm here to sum up the 2011 experience in 5 minutes. 4 minutes. So, that's a pretty tall order. What would you say if I asked you to describe the 2011 community in 5 minutes? Well, like any good anthropologist, I went out and asked some of you for your memories, hoping that I'd be able to find intersecting experiences through conversations. For those of you who entertained my somewhat bizarre request, thank you. Among the first to respond was a dear friend from The Spectator. What was his Columbia moment? Quote, "We arrived on campus at one of the wildest events in recent memory, the appearance of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in Roone Arledge and his subsequent showdown with President Bollinger." Regardless of your opinions, surrounding the event, it's hard to deny that it was pretty bleeping cool to have that happen at our school a few weeks after we showed up. End quote. A few hours later, though, I encountered a totally different perspective. Quote, "I remember witnessing protests and a lot of civic activity on campus around the time of Ahmadinejad's visit. Coming from a country which, because of our peculiar history, sees such overt signs of engagement as possibly dangerous civil unrest, I remember feeling slightly concerned, both for my own safety and my ability to fit in comfortably here." End quote. Same moment, two different stories. Indeed, many of us relied on the big happenings when talking about 2011. Several of us recalled the 7th anniversary of 9/11 when we gathered on these steps to watch then Senator Obama and Senator McCain speak at the Service Nation Forum hosted here in Lerner Hall. Others pointed to the momentous event that occurred just 2 months later when Barack Obama, CC 83, was elected. Just in case he forgot, was elected the 44th president of the United States, and we spontaneously flooded the campus in Broadway, cheering, crying, and screaming our way north towards Harlem. And even with all of the headliner stories that have been jam-packed into our 4 years here, many of us wax nostalgic when remembering the everyday and seemingly banal experiences that, in retrospect, have captured the essence of our Columbia experience. One of our classmates gushed about her lit hum professor's hilarious one-liners and her classmates' ability to still quote him 3 years later. Others of us fondly remember the time spending with our peers when we were explicitly not thinking about class. For example, some of us reflected on the many hours we spent in different student spaces, such as the IRC or Malcolm X lounges, where we'd have a long but a powerful meeting, and then after 3 hours of extracurricular passion, we'd realize that it had become absolutely necessary to do schoolwork. Yes, sometimes school did get in the way of our fun. But the more I kept asking for your stories, the more I realized that our memories weren't necessarily going to overlap in that neat, tied-up-in-a-bow way that I had hoped for. Instead, people's articulation of 2011-ness spanned a wide range, from the musician who frequently performed off campus with other 2011ers and had many senior groupies, to the comp sci major whose favorite memories are the ones in which her friends would force her out of her suite to get a midnight Hamdelburger, to the chem researcher who would be cloistered away in Havemeyer at all hours of the day, unless there was a senior drinking tradition, of course, in which case she'd come out in full force. In fact, some of you told me that you didn't have a 2011 experience, but that counts too. And from this angle, it does, it counts. And from this angle, it looks like the Columbia experience cannot be narrowed to one experience. That said, I know that we're all leaving here today feeling some sense in community in our class and in this school. It likely came in different ways than you had expected, and it's likely not the same experience of the person sitting next to you. And for that reason, I'd ask you to seriously consider the question that I opened with. If given 5 minutes, how would you explain the Columbia College 2011 community? Both the lessons learned and the incredible memories that we've forged here together have undoubtedly taught us a lot about who we are and what we hope to accomplish in the next steps of our lives. For the sake of making sense of our time together, I think it's worth taking the time to think about what these 4 years have meant to you. While giving thought to your experience, you'll likely think a lot about the friendships that we've created along the way. For everyone that I spoke with, friends were present in every story that we told. It's said by many that the value of the Columbia education comes in the form of the people that we meet. And in this case, I believe the cliche to be true. I'll just close with one last story, as one of you said it best when we spoke. Quote, "Winter break, freshman year, I went to California to visit a fellow Carmen floormate. One night, another floormate, someone I knew but not very well, came to stay with us too. As fate would have it, our host had an engagement one night, so the other Carmen Niner and I were on our own. That night changed my experience at Columbia and for the rest of my life, as this person, once I got to know him, became my best friend. I have many friendships at Columbia that I know will last long beyond our years here, but my California adventure is indicative of how sometimes things are just meant to be, and how I have Columbia to thank for bringing me in contact with the people who not only became my friends, but my support system and my family as well. Hold your friends close, 2011. Thank you for an amazing 4 years here, and I'll see you at the reunion. Until then, I love you and congrats.
At this time, each graduate will be invited to the stage for recognition. With us today are alumni representatives celebrating their 50th reunion year. They will present each member of the class of 2011 with an alumni pin on behalf of the Columbia College Alumni Association. Please join me in recognizing the members of the class of 1961. I ask that you please refrain from applause until all members of the class have been congratulated by Dean Moody Adams and President Bollinger and have returned to their seats.
You ready? Jordan Rebecca Katz. Michelle Yvonne Harrison. Margot Ashley Lazo. Elizabeth Lucia Lyon. Sean Manning Udell. Catherine Teresa Lupnicka. Nicholas John Standish. Sumetha Vinod Shablani. Catherine Lee McCaleb. Lucia Johanna Hertz. Nuriel Mogavim. Ukonsia Ayim. Jana Janelle Johnson. Ben Turndorf. Francesca Triani. Unam Javed Akram. Lisa Mungaldas. Joy Zhang Utwanje. Marcrete Krikorium. Michael Neil Marachnik. Colin Alexander Sullivan. Scott Allen Maxfield. Closer to me. Gilad Yair Bentheim. Thanks. Thomas Wesley Reel. Daniel Bracey. George Palmer Stern, Ana Luisa Cisneros, Bradley Leo Collins, Carolina Perez, Sanez June Fazeli, Mary Martha Ferrari Douglas, Benjamin Harold Lewant, Emily Yuko Josette Marie Strife, Alexandra Coromillis, Alexander Michael Harstrick, Melvin Manuel Green, Princess Nikia Francois, Brian Muhammad Lewis, Benjamin Ronald Cotton, Julia Kaler Halperin, Avram Natan Edelman, Karen Jeanette Wooden Rodriguez, Eric John Reinbergs, Annie Tan, Kara Rachel Buchanan, Terrell Winder, Carrie Ann Morrison, Alexander Samuel Rosen, Lisa Christina Weber, Umar Aga, Taimur Taher Malik, Ismail Najib Lakhani, Linda Christina Magana, Zachary Zwid Sussel, Zachary Wasim Ali, Ashwin Ram Swami, Eli Paul Lerner, Kathleen Elizabeth Berry, Learned Michael Foote, Dasha Renee Wise, Kevin Ho-Ting Kung, Sarah Josephine Jacobs, Lauren Zanitas, Beth Adina Mullen, Ariel Turin Fox, Jonathan Lowell Dentler, Eric Gordon Rosenberg, Shri Samir Asure, Albert Felix Rigosi, Michael Andrew Harden, Kyle Steven Shabunko, Adam S. Seif, Hillary Dell Hansen, Eugenia Harim Rowe, Hei-Jin Kim, Kyung Yaun Ham, Jenny Kim, Galaxy Young Hua Cho, Mi Yun Huang, Brooke Alicia Barrios, Keva Garg, Christian Landers Meninger, Thomas James Di Benetto, Alexander Michael Contrato, Eric H. Silberger, William Song-Un Jung, William Day, Andrew Zhang, Alexander Lowe, Charlene Jalyn Lee, Ivy Camille Fortmeyer, Hillary Dorothy Babukas, Samuel Walker Beck, Louise Ulrich Stewart,
Erin Marie Maya, Sonal Suresh Notuswalan, Alexandra Ortiz, Michael Dwayne Kelly Bradford, Jeffrey Wade Whitaker, Alexandro John Ferreira, Max Lautman, Kevin John Roberts, Adam James Murr, Jason Carl Banos, Nicholas John Cox, Zoe Sarah Lubitz, Debbie Judith Goodman, Laura Elizabeth Sperber, Alexandra Rice, Elizabeth Lindhart Robinson, Joanna Yi Wang, Jane Inji Kim, Mark Zerla, Adrian Raul Sarate, Joseph Andres Martin, Adam Clayton Powell, Robert Edwin O'Brien, Stephen Craig Matos, Alexander Matthew Gottschall, Rogelio Moises Aquino III, Haley Lynn Hare, Noah Butch Barron, Daniel Oliver Walden, Lucy Adela Sun, Julie Rachel Schoonover, Rihanna Dashell Wilborn, Elizabeth Wang Whitman, Robert A. Voss, Emad Harsouni, Crystal Oliva, David Francisco Firerose, Sarah Elizabeth Terry, Grant Krausina Gratiznia, Julia Elizabeth Horowitz, Christiana Mawuli Gozo, Leah Francis Lettieri, George Jachi Mu, Micah Lynn Kana, Amy Wang, Alberto Luperon, Sahil Vora, Ishan Patel, Anuj Junjunwala, Keshal Umesh Patel, Srilekha Sitha Yasothara Jayunthi, Susanna Rose Genti Waxberg, Elizabeth Mary Americo, Brian Garcia, Tanya Angelica Harsono, Rosa Miller Poland, Mark Vincent Modasat, Elizabeth Roxanne Varna, Miguel Angel Marocho, Nina Priya Sudarsan, Raj Karun Singh Soideji, Asta Samir Mehta, Vikas Anand, Dalini Lankachandra, Jenny Shen, Joy Guo, Jolina Guo, Christopher Ian Travis, Lavana Octavia Ricketts, Asia Gabriel Kemp, Karen Emarta Reza Howell, Anthony Ace Patterson, Kimberly Marie Ashby, Sierra Rose Hills, Savannah Ray Johnston, Christy Lee, Carmen Miguel Lucero, Debbie Raul Barrientos, Alexander William Calhoun, Alexandra Bogdan Georgescu, Kara Lynn Bess, Emma Catherine Carlin, Erica Danielle Dorfman, Lola Hatton Bennett Boatwright, Assad Serket Muhammad, Kevin William Plybon, Suraj Kumar, Henry William Oliver, Elizabeth Pino, Derek Thomas Edward Lipscomb, Sarah Yael Bravman, Melissa Ann Im, Zachary Grant Lundin, Elizabeth Alexandra Kirk, Chelsea Margot Del Alcazar, Shoji Ing, Hetchen Ren, Tien Koi Nguyen, Anne-Marie Skyless, Stephanie Renee Yaji, Maggie Elizabeth Johnson, Juan Gascon, Adam Hamilton Hyams, Nana Ascenso Ampim, Brian Keith Grimes, Zila Reyes Acosta, Mei Wang, Rui In, Patrabon Wangtavupkit, Chana Bao, Andrew Jangwan Kim, Lucy Shin, Eleanor Irushi, Hillary Ko Shi,
Scott Michael Peters, Nahuel Teleria, Timothy Joseph Reuter, Mara James McNamara, Tawana Llewellyn Spencer, Alexandra Celestia Owens, Erica Kristen Klaus, Gabrielle Marie Hogan, Elliot Hancock Swen, Kamson Lau, Samantha Lee Sito, Christopher David Liu, Io Rose Aura Alliston Moore, Guya Delphina Goff, Nancy Yavi Yan, Parnitha Sastry, Hei Sol Choi, Woo Sol Choi, Lawrence Alexander Anglin, Lucas Cameron Soto, Melki Sadiq Gabrielle Hall, Mario A. Luna, Bennett Yaobun Hong, Yisol Han, Tharani Ruthra Vura, Monica Aujanli Valman, Baraka Tova Rubin, Pavel Ranchusek Pastitsky, Yvette Sanchez, Alicia Morgan Outing, Erica and Melinda Cañas, Amina Amber Ford, Miguel Angel Flores Castro, Corey James Clare, Alejandro Hoyo, Alejandro Jose Garcia, Tomás Eduardo Rodriguez, Ana Elba Bobadilla, Amy Yi Wang, Duaya Jordan Kong, Bernice Villegas Ramirez, Oscar Tena, Suzanne Marie Davies, Mary Ocampo, Alan Yang, Alexander Margulies, Benjamin Lee, Sing Bung Kim, Christine Jin Ye, Jennifer Lynn Howe, Lauren Huber Parks, Colleen Veronica Cunningham, Ricardo Manuel Manturana, Danny Yard Chukin, Melanie Lynn, Nina Louise Monfredo, Uliko Carter, Griffin Matthew Curtis, David Shin, Casey Alexander Rojas, Eduardo Bartolo Lopez, Michael Frank Pushpak, Stephen Eric Lowenthal, Jeremy Theodore White, Warren Alexander McGee, Rebecca Eyes Fuller, Camille Turner, Kayla V. Fight, Ann Heron Park, Austin Nathan Cohen, Jonathan Russell Miller, Laura Amelia Gabriel, Archana Amanda Jaman, Gelsey Brixton Carl Cannon, Dustin Quinn Martin, Kelly T. Fleming, James Gregory Barsaman, Jeremy Matthew Skylaroff, Jay Duldoya, Ashley Rachel Ramsden, Ann Terry Kramer, Caitlin Shea Molskinski, Jonathan Yates Hill, Rose Lynn Levinson Palmer, Carolyn Thorne, Sarah Barber, Katie Jim Asinson, Yasmin Ramona Isabel Kahan Groves, Jacob John Enke, Ross Cooper Vaughn, Holly Beth Stanton, Anna Pamela Lynn Kalanawan, Veronica Viswet Mitnak, Juan Antonio Olivares, Ruben Gutierrez, Joseph Keller Schmuel, Kyle Russer Sullivan, Lindsay Catherine Cornum, Zaid Khalid Safri, Scott Nathaniel Dobbins, Marissa Shayna Leviton, Mila Erir, Sophia Ariel Merkin, Rachel Lauren Mark, Albin Romaric Noe Bresand, Nitra Danette Pon, Nikolai Patterson, Hannah Rose Kligman, Caitlin Rose Andre Atana, Elizabeth Rose Aloco, Marina Del Castillo, Hannah Margaret Lapau, Samantha Danielle Glover, Rohan Tharahaj, John Ing.
Genevieve Liberator. Emma Elizabeth McLennan. Alexander Christian Mole. Samuel Buck Johnson. Greer Caitlin Fike. Zweidi Susanna Barakanye. Kimberly Bliss Loffman. Tanisha D. Daniel. Luam Tesfaramam Kadane. Negan Alamazeda. Ann Kelly Minoff. Claudia Alexandra Gallego. Kevin Huang. Ki-Hoon Kim. Natalie Ong. Nicole Mason. Kyun Lee. Elliot Huang. Tracy Leonardo. Ishmael Muhammad. Betsy Eileen Moraes. Ethan C. Wong. Stella Tan. Sarah Hamilton Schilling. Abigail Lowen. Mark William Holzenbeck. Dan Jahu Cho. Christopher Palenka Feliciano. Rachel Siegel Greenberg. Matthew Alexander Jacobs. Nathaniel Hawthorne Christian IV. Manu Moy. Connie Tao. Jeremy Cheng Yilaw. Bomi Kim. Anastasia Tron. Jeremy Ross Slaywin. Michael Rossman. David Mel Gorvey. Melanie Brownie Shashel. Rashida Camilla Polk. Sharon Elizabeth Tynan. Allison Ray Bernstein. Oren Brecker. Jonathan Edmund Elias. John Hudson Haney. Rebecca Lee Chaudhry. Paloma Zoe Fermento. Catherine Camilla Monteleone. Laura Marie Goodall. Adina Rose Levin. Perry Ormont Blungberg. Evan Biederstedt. Daniel Katzen. Amelia Marianne Farid. Mary Gadimi. Victoria Maria Dinaz Bonilla. Benjamin Heileman Wiener. Alexander James Boger. George Christopher Escandon. Nirav Chetta. Timothy Jason Lamb. Isaac Guillermo Lara. Elizabeth Anissa Fabila. Hannah Mahamud. Alan Paul Daborn. Emily Jane Hernandez Goldstein. Vicky Dew. Orly Deborah Stamfer. Sejal Patel. Olivia Pinderhughes Green. Thomas Moore Brozens. Shreya Kanti Sundaresan. Perry Jordan Sasnet. Serena Ho. Minkilu Ahmed Grenz Jalo. Cyrus Andrew McGoldrick. Jacob Miller. Tassos Molinos. Yi Jenny Zhang, Jason Chi Kung Ping, Elizabeth Yi Dong, Evan Boswell Hamilton, Nicholas Julian Sands Gold, Emilio Pietro Lacursti, Joshua Paul Szymowski, Megan Claire Copoletti, Melissa April Caffrey, Nicholas Alexander Zalian, Naina Ayaibo Jamije, Chloe Elizabeth Eichler, Uloma Nino Olamipo Abi, Akua Gimfwa Inkiata, Sana Khalid, Debashri Sengupta, Radhika Melody Samant, Jessica Rachel Schwartz, Kendall Winbush, William Augustus Blunt Stewart III, Julia Chi, Carl Frederick Constant, Zachary Karuma, Brandon Rex Von Cole, Mark Elliott Holloway,
Prentice Robinson, Davika Elizabeth Romnani, Anna Teresa Guimaras, Amanda Hopewell Santamaria, Anna Ginsberg, Maria Kucha Yavaya, Ala Molovachico, Margot Dara Stuchin, Lauren Julia Marion, Joshua Benjamin Smith, August Jordan Williams, Daniel Craig Myers, Alexander Daniel Gross, Paul Stephen Vaith, Travis Matthew Cragen, Gregory Louis Fontea, Joseph James Stormont, David Pupis, Moises Guillermo Esperanza, Gabriel Urenda Moore, Kayla Ray Cobb, Zaki Anwar, Jason Andrew Donefeld, Kyle Stephen Fung Boots, Lucas Michael Shaw, Lindsay Marie Danielson, Matthew David Moretto, Jessica Skenazi, Bayode Adafin, Hayden David Hartley Johns, Giuseppe Carotenuto, Jacoba Jane Jacobson, Gregory James Klotchkoff, Elliot Edward Smalling, Julia Hannah Bosson, Andres Felipe Singans, Martha Catherine Turowitz, Genevieve Jung Kaunitz, Cherie Melumad, Aaron Amer, Michelle Wen Leong, Sarah Joan Thompson, Melissa Nicole Johnson, Erin Elise Adams, Jayshel Mayral Velez, Nuntale Junette Sabira, Shayna Yearwood, Sabine Ann Lewis, Jessica Lauren Johnson, Dominique J. Mossbergen, Nicholas Gibson Kraus, Justin Joseph Velasquez, Benjamin Lucis Fogarty Valenzuela, Jackson Christopher Cooper, Miriam Rachel Higgs Shacker, Daniel Simon Malinsky, Amelia Maxine Josephson, Daniela Garcia, Francisco Martin Del Campo, Camila Hulanda Fonseca, Audrina Columbus, Michael Jacob Zakin, Daniel Nathan Swartz, Mika Adet Schwartz, Shira Schindel, Francis Amanyera, Shafali Kumar, Kavita Anjali Surana, Sherry Bopan, Ali Charlie Krimmer, Yaniris Milagros Gomez, Amanda K. Olevo, Andreas Diallen Richardson, Jeffrey Christopher Sinkler, Elena De La Horn, Rebecca Lynn Miller, Esther Caroline Nivash, Raymond Michelle Katz, Stephanie Laura Riederman, Adina Rachel Goldberger, Oren Benzakin, Mikal Cohen, Brownwyn K. Moreno, Graham Arrington Carney, Cynthia Zin Shi, Jillian Rose Kammerer, Edward John Farrell, Noel Lauren Williams, Aaron Isaac Liskoff, Terry Schenker, Raphael Judah Rosen, Miriam Jenny Wiseman, Jonathan Gustav Shaler, Eugenio Guillermo Suarez, Opal Hia Hoyt, Courtney Shea Lofton, Tristan Nicholas Gondek Brown, Abigail Louise Riley, Ashley Claire McLean, Natasha Michelle Makarova, Amanda McAvoy Stewart, Campbell Gray, Emily Ann Brown, Felicia Ariel Pappas, Catherine Elizabeth Durnan, Andrew Anthony Alaka, Sarah Christine Ferguson, Angelica Hernandez, Sofia Checky, Diego Ortiz de Safios, Sophie de Chazal, Mina Chukmak, Ilu Shenberg, Hayun Ajo, Christine Sheila Kim, James Kyungjun Moon, Si-Moon Cho, Jin Woo Jang, Yamila Diane Hernandez, Victor Tadashi Suarez, Charlotte Kaufman, Joshua Isaiah Pegler, Neil Jacob Perlman, Ken Allen Hamo, Niraj Mukund Borlay, Catherine Drew Foster Sears, Charles Gladstone Harush Khan, Alexander Key Lee, Andrew Lockming Lane, Andrew Young Kim, Kevin K. Wong, Julian Seek,
Jean Jessica Pack, Julia Pamela Yu King Hing, Michelle Yen, Carolyn Marie Yim, Laura Elizabeth Trujillo, Kristen Alexis Moore, Brianna Tia Desiree, Zachary Samuel Dyer, Lilia Jovita Espinosa, Rebecca Bennett Clark, Sandy Arias, Sarah Taslima, Alexandra Christine Dole, April Alexandria Simpson, Brittany Ayana Pope, Charmaine Shamara Lester, Kimbia Patrice Ainsworth, O'Shea Lani Berry, Nelson McCarthy Mills, Solomon Kim, Jasmine Chen, Stephanie Amelia Wilhelm, Ishu Huang, Julie Lee, Rocio del Carmen Lopez, Alana Milka Vons, Mackenzie Yang, Jessica Lauren Rogers, Ashley D. Jordan, Samuel Payne Lasky, Miguel Lavalle, Adam Todd Fox Azen, Sean David Spielberg, Robin Redfield Calhoun, Julia Jaboni, Camille Ashleen Hutt, Jillian Melissa Pollock, Hope Catherine Winkler, Jacqueline Marie Druin, Jillian Alexandra Goodwin, Catherine Carrington, Christine Eva Anderson, Maria Laura Torre Gomez, Sarah Ellen Strongman, Adam Walter Koonsberg, Mitchell Rubenstein, Leslie Huang, Jason John Pfluger, Maximilian Alexander Horlbeck, Matthew James Ward, Hannah Nicole Pearls, Jack Brooks Zeitman, Nicole Ramanan, Brooke Elisa Luxemburg, Alicia Adele Samuel, Daria Alexandra Chirkov, Alexa Lee Davis, Liana Juliet Tedesco, Jan Van Zoulen, Diana Sieve Greenwald, Ian Michael Quirk, Matthew Allen Stotler, Alexandra Jakunski, Eric William McAnally, Eric Joseph Rice, Christopher Michael Fitzpatrick, Nathaniel Edward Mormon, Joshua Eugene Brown, Eleanor Suzanne Diamond, Ricky Brandon Schweitzer, Benjamin Michael Chuchinski, Shane Catherine Farrow, Kurt Sanchez Kanazawa, Timothy Gerard Nesmith, Zachary David Crimmins, Max Zeiderhoff Craig, Alyssa Cashman, Julia Steele Garrison, Erin Margaret Conway, Colleen Siobhan McNutt, Benjamin Walker Gaston, Daniel McGee Cohen, Timothy John Scallick, Nathan Matthew Lentz, Justin S.Y. Lee, Sho Matsumoto, Gabrielle Hiro Diaz, Masanori Kamatsu, Tara Meenan, Tyler Sheenan Halpin Healy,
Tom Hu, Matthew Robert Jones, Nicole Chinwe Apariki, Sarah Bryan Wilson, Elizabeth Flannery Gallagher, Elizabeth Jin Lee, Caitlin Ann Mullins, Rebecca Barrett, Lauren Ann Byrne, Molly Elizabeth Andre, John Macaulay McGovern, Sean Patrick Quirk, Jungmin Kwan, Peter Schmider-Labuza, Daniel Cornell Amzalag, Megan Caroline von Rembau, Gregory Fletcher Cox, Yvonne Liu, Melissa Brooke Taylor, Evan Omi, Mustafa Tariq Hamid, Benjamin Santiago Landy, Sasha Leilani Fulton, Ari Benjamin Jacob Golub, Byung Jin Kong, Olivier David Sherman, Rachel Emily Crosswell, Caroline Lee, Adam Emmanuel May, Nina Pedrad, Jonathan Golelot Gubillo, Rebecca Caroline Lewis, Elizabeth Ann People, Ashley Monique Butler, Maya Ariel de la Rosa Cohen, Diana Kai, Christopher Lopez, Alexander Richard Perry, Edward Herman Kaylee Jian, Jiang Zhang, Catherine Chung, Jonathan Andrew Kaplan, Philip Theodore Crone, Erica Stone Drennan, Mary Page Coleman, Leah Goodman, Danielle Sarah Bitterman, John Daniel DeBellis, Stephen Scott Hancock, Marielle Keel Dunn, Catherine Whitney Kolumbovich, Haley Ann O'Sullivan, Laura Elaine Vogel, Samantha Casal Lee, Nicole Carmen Carter, Kristen Marion Berry, Andani Rosanna Alcantara Diaz, Justine Yesol Kim, Stephanie Catherine Mitchell, Lauren Amy Dwyer, Jane Catherine Majida, Megan Emma Harker, Megan Frances McCasker, Bianca Cadena, Eric Estuardo Zambrano, Curtis Jonathan Holden, Edwin Felix Diaz II, Michael Weisbach, Jeffrey Michael Moriarty, Thomas Robert Poland, Matthew Chambriello, Paul Alfred Corcoran, Brendan William Martin, Anthony Michael Mera, Colin Michael Cutter, Brendan Hannon, Bridget Sophia Babish, Leticia Shaban El Nagar, Isabel Amanda Steiger, Kyle Edward Robinson, Gary Christopher Hall, Michael Brandon Egley, Ali Javed Siddiqui, Alexandra Taylor Crawley, Erin Regina Hayes, Colleen Malone, Dylan Samuel Isaacson, Matthew Stewart, Miles Nelson Becker, Terrence Tutal Prial, Jeremy Tack, Joshua Shu Wan, Mahfouz Basif, James Texas Dawson, Alexander Shaw, Madeline Dangerfield Cha, Ruth Frayden King, Eli Shanann Keene, Lauren Mary Weiss, Gabrielle O. Geronimos, Hannah Lisa Smith, Emily Brady Kager, Caroline Naney Siri, Insu Kim, So-hee Im, Olivia Shu Hang Shi, David Joseph Feig, Alexander Rutledge Fisher, Kristen Ames Cummings, Lauren Elizabeth Rawlerson, Daniel Thomas Gray, Vesal Yazdi, Alex Banku, Alexander Kwang Hang Chan,
Brendan James Klein, Angela Radulesik, Junhao Rosalind Shi, Thank Zhu, Ian Brennan Kwok, Karen Nguyen, Mark Jacob Graboy, Robin Katarina Lim, Jackie Kristen Brown, Mateo Malinverno, San Yao Chandra, Marianne Maxine Johnson, Allison Lauren Flater, Jerome John Ellis, Alice Rothman Hicks, Tinyang Sun, Rubens Phillip, Neha Richardson McGuire, Neha Ahmed, Allison Nicole Kaplan, Nicholas Yok Hin Wong, Gi Yang, Nicole Sinpei Ung, Andra Milhali, Ludmila Kodvachuk, Dani Pai, Zhao Lan, Roland Rossini Yang, Nathan Youngjun Pak, Damon David Hura Kusun, Scott Jordan Levy, Nicholas Ashisha Harrison Lal, Elizabeth Shen, Jonathan Benjamin Tanner, Javed Basu Kesselman, Muji Bula Mashal, Adam Dubrow, Dennis Hall, Asher Joseph Berlin, Daniel Stephan Gentile, Tobin George Manikal, Winston C.K. Kung, Ashley Liu, Natalie Costello Bernini, Stephanie Garcia, Farhana Begum, Ryan Gingery, Patricia Candida Rojas, Cynthia Lee, Bianca Lynn Garcia, Michael Francis McGeever, William Keller Ewing, Samuel Michael Frank, Erica Diane Kastman, Benjamin Daniel Berger, Louis William Fisher, Drew Vashit, Deandra Perez, Jennifer George Nickel, Meredith Sedgwick Mead, Alexandra Celeste Angelo, Casey Lee Koopmans, Edward Jason Pohl, Max Rifkin Barron, Brian Anthony Tarabakia, Alex Daniel Tarabakia, Katie Elizabeth Klimko, Anna Carolyn Udletvit Malkan, Sarah Khan, Malika Narin, Claire Mary Bullen, Christopher Arthur Chan, Gina Rose Poindexter, Nicole Erin McCormick, Max Jacob Pensack, Esteban Jefferson, Mohammed Kazim Pajwani, Stephen Charles Blair, Grace Tower Laidlaw, Beasley James Kiernan, Eric Griffin Himmelberg, William Harrison Bain Haggis, Niga Angela Moisey Dees, Pristine Akila Gaines, Kelly Rose Hostler, Allison Laurel Raybould, Carrie-Ann Lynn Noble, Ya Aduman Kawa, Sean Sangho Kim, Marco Danielle Machado, Christopher Ryan Brown, Rahi Seith, Dino Joseph Grandoni, Ralph Andrew Pope Sussman, Benjamin Erglanger Kurland, Jeffrey Ryan Pickler, Abraham Hart Allison, Aaron Wolf Scheffler, Nathan John McAlone, Swat Catherine Katvich, Alexis Irene Oppenheimer, Kate Haley Claremont, Meghna Prasad, Jay Uday Katan, Ted Wynn, Peter Caston Lusak, Anna Stagg Fewer, Samira Khalifa, Caitlin Dawn Fawcett, Alexander Michael Gortman, Michelle Ann Benya, Patricia Catherine Cezanne,
Christopher George Burks, Joel Howard Gombiner, Samuel David Ryder, Nora Sammy Stern Rodriguez, Juliana Carol DeVries, Ana Andrea Nunez Cardenas, Roxanne Lynn Unger, Ryan Gerald Kavanaugh, Brian Richard Nickel, Forrest Lloyd Anderson, Gregory Daniel Hawkshurst, James Harold Brown, Matthew Paul Solano, Max Jacobini Zinner, Anders Michael Booman, Christopher Wade Austin, Javier Andres Placencia, Joanna Beth Farley, Stephen John Gorin, Frederica Evans Tunnard, Sarah Chrisman Steele, Artemis Georgia Shaw, Ida Sadr Kiani, Sarah Deutsch, Courtney Amanda Sela, Carmen H. Miller, Sarah Film Partridge, Michael S. Bruno, Jeffrey Allen Irwin, Josefina Maria Aguila, Helen Sato Werby, Christina Hyde Patterson, Ariana Rebecca Orvell, Travis Glenn Joyner, Leo Michael Goldberg, Kevin Shinye Shea, Nicole Bixson Benson, Cara Elizabeth Buckley, Hillary Ann Krentzman, Zachary Spencer Gray, Alessandra Gottbaum, Beatrix Ann Carroll, Alexa Meyer, Nicole Alyssa Savory, Ryan John Wilson, Marcello Crico-Litza, Xiao Wan-Ong, Alyssa Marie Lamontong, Taylor Robert Owens, Zachariah Thomas Shepard, Michael James Connolly, Lucy Catherine Stowe, Thomas Henry Reed, Jeffrey Harold Sharfstein, Arti Vadanath Iyer, Jakob Methodios Jurgensen, Rachel Hang, Waling Wu, Evan Thomas Scholl, Joshua Cabrera, Trevor Antonio Vaz, Pierre Abraham Sadi, Paul Warren, Michael Lawrence Collins, Guan Yu Lee, Robert Walter Payne III, Matthew Alexander Prusnick, Andrew Michael Morris, Francisco Javier Salas, Simone Raphael Foxman, Benjamin Streckfuss Clark, Salim Perji, Delano Kofi Thomas Amagadzi, Francis Tyler Prusico, Russell Luke Kostelak, Julio Armando Perez, Catherine Shupka Schultz, Randy Olivia Scott, Haijung Chung, Thomas Yang Sun, Fumda Shu, Alexander Joseph Ivy, Hannah Beth Casorla, Nicole Lauren LeCanter, Natalia Melissa Fondesia, Abigail Alexandra Dubin Roden, Clifton Levitt Pope, Nico Gutierrez, Leon Lewis Charles Ivory, Andrew Casal Kennedy, Calvin Bradley Otis, Kiana Alicia Dixon, Christina Mariana Tecchi, Alexander Michael Berenbein, Morgan Terrell Ferguson, Eric Kair, Stephen James Martinez, Amen Engelson Fernandez, Geraldine Judith Rodriguez, Carolina Rivas, Taylor Marie Tomshison, Igor Simic, Eric Goodman, Leanne Hoofing, Antonia Marie Thornton, Whitney Bryn Plummer, Gabriela Salazar, Kira Jacqueline Siegel, Rachel Fatima Celia. David Colin Levkoff. Luanda Aziza Garcia. Rosario del Carmen Quiroz Villarreal. Israel Rodriguez Rubio. Destiny Solins. Luis Rivera. Brittany Morgan Reed. Sarah Myun Kim. Amy K. Kang. John Park. Warren Waylun Tai. Erica Burke. Tony Gomez. Elizabeth Ruth Ford. That's it.
The class of 2011. So as a special tribute to the class of 2011, your class officers have arranged for the Empire State Building to be lit up in Columbia blue and white tomorrow night. Immediately following the ceremony, we invite you to join us on at a reception on Hamilton Lawn. So please join us in singing Sans Souci and Roar, Lion, Roar by the Cliffhangers.
What if tomorrow brings sorrow or anything other than joy? What if we will treat brainstorm or song? Tomorrow's the future, still this is today. Tomorrow's the future, still this is today. One last toast ere we part, written on every heart, this motto stay. Long may the longest and honor throughout the land. Our alma mater, grand now and forever. Our alma mater, grand now and forever. Ba 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 ba. Dum dum dum. When the bold teams of old do the blue and white, deeds of fame made their name here at old Columbia. Nowadays we can praise fighting teams again. Hear the lion roar his pride, while the men of Morningside follow the blue and white to victory roar. Lion roar, roar, and with the echoes of the Hudson Valley, fight on to victory evermore. While the sons of Knickerbocker rally round Columbia, Columbia, shouting her name forever, roar, lion roar, for alma mater on the Hudson shore, roar.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you our newest alumni, the class of 2011.